I'm going to try to get Stuart to come in to pop in on this thing too. So Suki Pet, Wisconsin. So guys, look, first off, the two races in Florida, it's a red state, red districts. Red state and red districts where two candidates who made the campaign about the fact that this is crazy and Trump is hurting Americans overperformed by about 15 and 20 points respectively. Those should have been wipeouts. Those should have been 30-point blowouts. Trump won the first district by 37% and the sixth by 31%. These were 9-point races. Look, Republicans won, but the Delta, if you're a serious Republican, you'll see a lot of them out tomorrow morning and tonight. Hey, we're triumphant in Florida. I want to tell you a quick story. A long time ago, FDR gave the King of Saudi Arabia an airplane. And they go over there, they present this DC-3 to the King of Saudi Arabia, King Fahd, and it's like, this is the peak of Western engineering. This is this amazing thing. This is this wonderful invention. And Fahd gets to the plane, they fly around, and they're saying, they keep like trying to get him to be impressed by the plane. Oh, this is wonderful. Isn't this wonderful, Your Majesty? Isn't this the most amazing thing, Your Majesty? And Fahd, through a translator, says, it is not supposed to do this. They're supposed to win in Florida. They're supposed to win huge numbers in Florida, and they didn't. None of this is happening at random. And look, we are very close to Wisconsin now. I see Lincoln Square Media has just joined. I'm trying to get Stu to pop on here. I sent Stu an invite. We're trying to make this all work together. But listen, if you're Elon Musk right now, you're having a bad night. Because if you're Elon Musk consultants, you're having an exceedingly bad night. Here's the deal. It's not over yet, but we're over 50% of the vote is in now. We've got a pretty clear pattern here. It's going to be real hard to overcome. Even if you rounded up every vote in rural Wisconsin, I don't think you're going to get there. And by the way, someone said we tried in District 6. God bless you. You know what? You got to do that. You got to go fight swing seats. You got to go fight reach seats. You got to go out there and fight. You'll learn to campaign better. You'll learn to challenge better. It becomes easier as time goes on. So, if you're in Wisconsin though tonight, first off, you're Elon Musk's consultants who've been buying beach houses off the money that he's been paying them, like extra second beach houses to take their private jets to their beach houses. They're not having a good night. Over $53 million of Republican money went into Schimel. That's real money. That is real money. Okay? That is real money. In an off year, that's real money. 13 or 12 came up from Elon himself. Elon was just at the tip of the spear here, guys. Everything in MAGA world dumped its power into Wisconsin. Everything that they had went into Wisconsin. Okay? You had Elon investing all this money. You had other big Republican donors investing all this money. You had the committees pushing money into there.
44.
Renee says 56-44. That ain't going to change. 85?
65.
Oh, 65. That ain't changing. It's done. We're done. Schimel lost. I've seen enough, as they say. But look, when you examine how much they put on the field, every MAGA scamfluencer and influencer was up there. Charlie Kirk, all these other people. They were all trying to get in on this, on what they thought was going to be a win tonight. They were up there. They were up there by the dozens, doing lives, doing YouTube videos, doing town hall meetings with and alongside of. Hang on one second. Do a little housekeeping here. Yeah, do a little housekeeping. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the numbers, making sure I'm giving you all straight information here. Okay, look, they were all up there. So Trump's all in. Elon's all in. Schimel is out there basically, and by the way, I'm going to come back to Elon. Don't worry. Schimel's out there basically saying, if Donald Trump needs me to wash his car or scrub his ass in the morning, I'm there for him. I'm his man. Schimel branded himself as Trump's guy in a state race. Dummy. Hang on. But the biggest loser of the night is Musk. By far. By far. First off, he goes and wears a cheese hat unconvincingly, unimpressively. Sorry, doing housekeeping. Hang on, y'all. Okay. Sorry. A lot of people are trying to get to me right now because suddenly a lot of people, like, their eyes just popped open tonight, like, with a realization. These fuckers are not unbeatable. Too many Democrats took the bait of Trump saying over and over again, I have a mandate, I have a sweeping mandate, I bestride the American scene like a colossus. Guys, they can be beaten. If I may quote the very important 1980s documentary Predator, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Right now, Elon is curled in a fetal position in his jet, racing the fuck away from Wisconsin as fast as he can. He needs the comforts of more baby mamas and a dump truck full of ketamine at this point, because the guy was the poster boy for Schimel. He was the guy who went out there, wore the cheese hat, did the rallies, handed out the $1 million fake checks to young Republicans. Who knew? He said something the other night that was the most remarkably arrogant horseshit I've ever heard from Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has a catalog of remarkably arrogant horseshit that I find astounding in its scope and breadth and amazement. This race will decide the fate of human civilization. Really, bro? No, not so much. But look, Elon went out there, put himself out there. He believes now, because Phil Cox and these consultants around him have convinced him that he's a political genius. And all he has to do is open the checkbook. It blew back, guys. You are seeing the beginning of something. And my Democratic friends, I want you to imagine when you saw Republicans winning congressional races over the years, because guys like me would run ads that said, John Smith is a liberal. He's more liberal than even liberal Nancy Pelosi. He's the most liberal ever, and he's tied to George Soros. Elon Musk is so unpopular, so profoundly unpopular now, that he is going to be an anchor in these races. Not a good kind of anchor, a boat anchor. He's going to drag down. Oh, hang on a second. I know what to do here. Give me a second. I know how to get Stu in the game now. I wish this had a little better front end control, but you know what? Oh, I almost invited Lindy Lee by mistake. I'm going to have to block her. All right. Waiting for Stu to pop on. But look, this investment these guys all made, from Elon Musk all the way. Hey, Stuart, there you are.
Rick,
what a night, man.
As someone who's been on the losing end of a few Wisconsin races, it's nice to be on the winning end. Wisconsin, when we were doing races for Republicans, it always seemed like the homecoming queen was going to go out with you, but the night before,
then she
said,
dumped
you and went
Johnny instead to the
went out with the star quarterback.
Right.
But I will say this: I have lost Wisconsin without personally spending $27 million.
Same here. Statewide and other races.
I have an up on Elon Musk, who your friend Kara Swisher described Elon Musk's personal dress style as, quote, He reminds me of lesbians I used to date in the 1990s. Which,
I mean, Stuart, he went out and wore the cheese head. He
yeah,
he he was
yeah,
so all in, and what I was just saying right before you popped on was, it was like he made himself into the face of this campaign. He
100%.
made
He
himself.
was on the ballot.
He was on the ballot, and I think now Democrats should learn that he's going to be on the ballot everywhere you put him on the ballot, and everywhere
Yep.
you go, you ought to put Elon Musk on the ballot. I
Yep.
mean, this it's crazy. He's hurting people, and he doesn't care. That's adding up into Elon's image, and that's Trump's image now too. And I just think I think we got a much different political climate tomorrow morning when the sun comes up than we had this morning when it
Well,
came.
it'll be interesting to see if those forces inside the White House, which you know far better than I, um, who have been wanting to control Elon, will now have
Mhm.
some leverage
Oh,
to do so.
Susie
Um,
Wiles, Jared Kushner, and a bunch of other people are popping bottles tonight because they have desperately tried to either minimize or side slice Elon for the last few weeks because they've seen the same numbers we're seeing. The guy's just not popular. He is an unpopular figure doing unpopular things, and I feel like you know the degree to which MAGA invested in this race, not just financially, but all those people they brought in. I mean, the entire infrastructure of MAGA, the Charlie Kirks were all there.
yep.
All the crazies were there.
Bill Cox for Elon.
If you're Phil Cox tonight, I think you're probably looking into the witness protection program because, you know,
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, you're doing it from your third beach house that you built
that's
right after the
correct. That's
November
correct.
election. Um,
But no,
yeah, I
I just,
imagine Elon is not a happy guy when he spends 27 million and loses, and then
yeah.
gets blamed for it.
And look, you got to wonder what Trump is thinking right now because there's nothing in Trump's mind that he hates more when somebody in his mind becomes a loser.
Yes. Yeah,
And
you're
and
absolutely
that's
right.
one of his
Yep.
weird psychological quirks
Yes.
that once somebody's a loser, Trump starts to like, oh, I didn't really know him. That guy, I think he was a volunteer at one point, but I don't know him.
Yeah, I had to be
So
nice to him. He gave me a car. Um, earlier, I guess we were talking with the great Simon Rosenberg, and he
yeah,
was
I heard it was a great show tonight. Sorry I couldn't
well,
make
he
it
was
earlier.
he was just on fire, but he burns bright all the time, and he was making the point that I really think needs to be made more that eh, what everyone is saying that what Elon and Trump are doing is criminal, that they are breaking laws.
Oh,
And where
absolutely.
Simon was taking it was, what do we do with criminals? We put them in jail so
Sure.
that we will know that the sort of right outcome here is when Elon Musk is tried. Because the crimes that they're committing are extraordinary. Um,
In volume and in scope.
yeah. In a world in which you go to jail for stealing someone's social security check,
Right.
and the way that he is directing these contracts and the self-dealing,
The sudden appearance of many no bid contracts for Starlink and SpaceX.
it's yeah. I mean, it's the greatest. I mean, think about like compare this to Watergate. I
Uh,
mean,
you
I
know
mean,
that famous line that they attributed to Deep Throat in the movie version, where he said, the secret of this is there's no secret. These were not bright guys, and things got out of hand. Some of these guys around Elon are bright guys, and that's made things get more out of hand. And it's I mean, the speed with which that political damage has started to hit them is shocking to me in some ways. I really thought Trump would have more runway, that he would have, that he head fake the tariffs and pull back. But I mean,
well,
between Elon and the tariffs and the destruction of the markets and the economy, I mean, the guy seems determined to be thrown out of office.
our good friend, genius editor Ben Howe made a good point the other day on that call he had. That has there ever been a president who has taken responsibility for a bad economy this quickly? Normally,
Right.
normally you would still be in if it was bad, blaming the other guy. The problem was he inherited a good
100%.
economy, but usually it takes longer. I mean, Ben's exactly right, for a president to lose that benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
And but
And that idea that Musk has become. I mean, I think for a while Trump thought, okay, he'll do the crazy shit. It will shield me
yes,
from, oh, it's not Trump cutting Social Security, it's crazy Elon. But now Elon's glued so tightly to him that although Elon doesn't say much about the tariff things, but Trump's ideas now about the economy, he's saying the quiet part loud. He goes, I don't care if people have to pay more. I
yeah,
don't care if it hurts people. I don't care if we lose jobs. We're going to be so rich. I just find it. I think this week and last week we had a transition in the country from a hopeless and helpless Democratic Party, and y'all aren't off the hook yet, but just absolutely paralyzed by the speed and the noise and the corruption and the criminality of all of it, to this week where you've seen things like this victory in Wisconsin, this shift in Florida that should scare the crap out of Republicans. Hardest victories you guys have ever had in the state in a long time. Um, and I think also I wanted to talk about ask you about this. We hadn't had a chance to talk about this yet today. The Cory Booker
the Cory
filibuster.
Booker.
What a glorious moment. That made me like fall in love with rhetoric and speech writing and the power of a positive spectacle all over again.
Yeah, I mean, it was one for the ages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm just fascinated by is how much of this had he written? Because I mean, you
So
can't write 25 hours. I
no,
mean,
they said they had written over a long time to plan this, about 11,000 words, but they weren't like it wasn't verbatim. He was
yeah,
prompting. And look, God knows you and I sit in front of cameras and talk like monkeys a lot of the time on TV for 3 or 5 or 7 minutes, and you you get off the set sometimes and go, "Whew, I'm done."
I'm glad that didn't go 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
You
right.
know?
I'm fading,
Yeah,
but
you know, he's a fascinating figure.
it really is
Someone who's sort of always been a star.
right,
Uh, you know, a friend of mine at Stanford said, "Yeah, I knew him, but everybody knew him. He was that guy."
right.
Um, and I think he has a graciousness and a bigness about him that is so contrasting to, well, frankly, to Schumer.
Sure,
Um, you know, it just seems like
and
a backroom vote counter now.
yeah,
Um,
and certainly to Thune. I mean, I think some of this just had to shame the hell out of John Thune.
listen,
John, you
I
and I both know John Thune, and he is
not that guy.
not that guy, guys, folks. Whether you
I
believe it or not, Thune is terrified of Trump, but he is the farthest thing in the Senate probably that you have left from a Trumper, which is ironic and weird, but there you go.
I first met John Thune when I was working for Crazy Bill Janklow, and he was executive director of the Republican Party.
Yep,
And everybody liked John. He was a great guy. You know, he
yep.
was, big, good looking guy, good athlete, good guy to have on your softball team. He was modest. He worked hard, gave credit to others.
He also was a guy who worked in the Senate on both sides of the aisle
Yeah,
for a long time. I mean, put
he's a
together a
hard guy
lot
not
of.
to like.
Yeah, tough guy. Yeah, right. But I mean, I think tonight some of what Cory did very wisely, very intelligently, was to put a little bit of a mirror up to Thune and ask him: do you want to be the guy down the street, or do you want to be yourself?
Yeah.
Do you want to lead this body while you have control of this body, or do you want to let that guy run this body? I had heard also earlier in the week that article about the Senate's age of irrelevance from the Times really hit him hard.
Mm-hmm.
He was not pleased.
You know
Um,
what? I just baffles me is, most politicians have big egos, which is fine. We haven't shot anybody all day.
sure.
So do great writers, athletes, musicians. It's fine. Um, but don't they realize, like a John Thune, a John Cornyn, even a guy that I used to know really well,
Yeah.
what they're going to be remembered for? And all these bills they passed, all these, co-sponsoring this and that, none of it is going to mean shit.
None of it's going to matter a lick.
No.
At the end of the day, history is going to be very rough on these guys, and I think tonight, when we saw that, what we saw tonight was an example of political gravity reasserting itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the money they threw in there, all of the games they've been playing, all the bullshit they've been doing, all of the Fox, and again, everybody was all in. The whole MAGA social media infrastructure world was there. The
Right.
whole MAGA press world. Fox was on this basically saying, that Schimel's the only thing standing between Wisconsin and communism.
the end of civilization.
The end of human civilization
is Elon, which proves that it is a bad, dangerous thing to mix ketamine and cheese. That this will do something.
Well,
so your
Elon
doctor
tonight is going to need as I said in the beginning of the stream, I was like, tonight Elon's going to need a dump truck of ketamine and a new baby mama to soothe his ego, because he is the biggest loser in the country right now, and and there's a reason why America is swaffling him right now. Shout out to Whitney, because he's a loser who lost. He bought into a vision of how to sell this campaign. You and I both know this act where the candidate has a vision of who he is, and if he's genuine to that, it tends to work better. But they told Schimel, go out and say, I will do anything for Donald Trump. He is my Lord and Master, because they told him that way you'll turn out the MAGA base.
Right.
MAGA base wasn't turning out tonight, y'all. You know who turned out? Dane County turned the fuck out. Y'all, that's
those
where
are
University of
incredible
Wisconsin
numbers out of
is.
Dane County.
And if you don't win Dane County as a Democrat going away, you're not going to win. Schimel got blown out.
Yeah.
Susan Crawford is giving her victory speech right now, everybody. So, look, I don't want to go on too much longer for all the folks here, because I want you to go watch that speech. But they can be beaten. It takes hustle. It takes heart. It takes commitment. It takes money. It takes supporting the candidates that are right for the state and the district. It takes supporting the groups that are going to help them. And it takes getting out of the MAGA media bubble, getting out of their bullshit for 5 minutes. And God, being off Twitter has helped me so much, y'all. Thank you, Elon. Thank you.
Well, look, my closing word is, everybody who's watching this, if you haven't subscribed to Rick Wilson's Substack, there's not many things I read every day, but I read that. And the thing that impresses me the most, I mean, Rick wrote this beautiful piece yesterday for Lincoln Square. I guess it came out today, actually. I saw it yesterday.
Today.
About the meaning of the 18 acres of the White House and what it's an absolutely beautiful piece. What always amazes me about Rick's writing is I don't know what he's going to write. I mean, most of us have about 5 things we say, so much to the point that you could just at a certain point just say, well, look, number 3. That's it. Right. You don't have to write anything else. You'll know what it is. But Rick is really, he's just I don't want to embarrass the guy, but he has a really fascinating mind and a big heart. And you really should subscribe to his Substack. Subscribe to Lincoln Square too, where you'll get some Rick. You'll get some Rick Wilson.
Growing, by the way, Lincoln Square, guys, is growing like crazy. We're like all of a sudden one of the biggest Substacks out there, and we built it so that we could have an alternative place for news and information and strategy. People can find out what's really happening from the perspective of people who've done this kind of work. And also, look, we're going to enter into a phase now where Trump continues to be dangerous, continues to be frightening, continues to do destructive shit. But we're also entering a phase now, I truly believe this, where Americans are off their asses, standing up for the fight, and that's where we want to lead it. So, well, thanks, Stuart, for coming on, buddy, and thank you, everybody else. Appreciate you guys coming on tonight. We will go have a celebratory viewing of the speech as Schimel and Musk are ritually humiliated. Thanks, everybody.
Here's the good days ahead. All the best.
Yeah, absolutely.